Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt, and welcome back to Far Lands or Busts. I had to wait an extended period there for Wolfie to bark, but he did, so now we are ready to begin the episode in proper fashion. Let us... Oh, my inventory is out of control, especially for somebody afflicted by OCD as much as I. Let's do that. I think we have enough arrows, so I'll get rid of those feathers. And I think we're ready to go. So let's grab Wolfie and continue west. Indeed. Oh, I just heard a zombie, actually. It's kind of creepy. But anyway, Far Lands or Bust, we're back. And get ready for this. We are at 95% towards our fundraiser goal for Child's Play charity over at farlandsorbust.com. That is $28,011.51. $28,000. It's less than $1,200 to go. Or actually, just a little bit more than $1,200 to go until we reach our goal of $29,220. So that's crazy and amazing. Oh, careful. Jeez, he almost threw himself right off the cliff. But that is crazy and amazing, and I appreciate all the support. Wow. And of course, this is on top of, I haven't reminded you guys in a while, but for those of you who are new subscribers, last season we raised $11,739. So we are well over $40,000. I just did the math in my head right there. That's crazy. Is that? Yeah, maybe. Close to $40,000 at least for Child's Play charity for Far Lands or Busts. Amazing. Crazy. I still, when I started this thing, my original goal was $820. That should last me a while. So we're exponentially growing this thing, and I really do appreciate it. And like I said, 5% more to go. $12,000 about. That's over at farlandsorbust.com using the chip-in widget that's on the homepage there. So, no pressure, Kurt, no pressure. We do have to start thinking about the 100% milestone. Of course, if you missed it, I put up the 60% milestone, which was my participation in SethBling's Tower Defense Tournament. It's a fun little thing that he invited me to, and I said, sure, let's do it. And got randomly put together with some other invitees, other YouTubers. Ooh, hello. So it looks like the it did look like the sand crawler from Star Wars until the rest of it kind of generated in there. But anyway... but yeah, that was a lot of fun, and that video is up, so you make sure you check that out. Don't miss that. I'm pretty quiet, so don't expect me to be a chatterbox, as I normally am not with multiplayer stuff, especially multiplayer stuff with people I've never met before. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. Go check that out. A lot of interesting terrain lately. And of course, in the last episode, we had the Bizarro 292-202 monument. And on Reddit, the Sticky Stick Man, who I recognize that name from asking quite a few good questions in the comments, but the Sticky Stick Man was kind enough to put together screenshots from the actual 292-202 monument, and then the Bizarro one I found in the last episode, and they're different, but they're very eerily similar. Like the Bizarro version seems like an eroded version of the 292-202 monument. Just like the position of the hills and the Fist of Notch and things like that, it couldn't be a coincidence. There has to be at some point some similarity, and I know people were bringing up some scientific properties or theorems and things like that say if there's something large enough, you're bound to see multiples of the same thing or whatever. And somebody brought up that these areas might be looking familiar to areas we've already seen before, but just because the 292-202 monument is a pretty significant place, that one is easy for our brains to recognize. So yeah, I don't know if we'll ever fall into a Canyon of Woe again, or perhaps the what was that? The Dark and Magical Pit of Bottomless Destiny. Who knows? But will certainly be something to look out for in the next. Indeed, the next 700 some odd hours we have to walk to the Far Lands or whatever it's going to be. I don't know. I'm not doing the calculations. I'm not going to discourage myself based on that. I'm having fun, and I just take it as it comes. So yeah, that was pretty crazy though. But looking back at those pictures from the Sticky Stick Man, that place was really creepy, like eerily close. I almost wish I kind of hung out there or took like a panorama or something like that. And oh, that was weird. I felt like I was like in a cobweb. My movement slowed down a little bit, but I think we're just all of a sudden getting a lot of this jitteriness. I don't know if it's maybe because now, as opposed to with the old computer, I had it on normal render distance. I've got it on far render distance now, and I'm recording full screen. I don't know if that tends to inhibit the or lead to this jitteriness that we have. It's funny, every time I upload a video to YouTube, it's like, we've detected that your video might be shaky. Would you like us to fix that for you? No, thank you. I've got it under control, thanks. Because they have, for those who don't upload videos to YouTube, they have an automated kind of a stabilization feature that you can put on post-production just through the YouTube after you upload it. But I find that funny every time it asks me that. It's only with the Far Lands or Bust videos though. My other Minecraft videos are fine. I thought it was like the view bobbing or something like that, but no, it's the it must just be Far Lands or Bust. It doesn't quite like. What's this? Oh, thought it would be a spawner. Guess not. Woof. Back on a boat. And onward. But yeah, a lot of cool stuff happening in Far Lands or Bust KurtJMac world. I guess for some, I haven't had much astronomy news lately, but a lot of you were seeing on Twitter, I was retweeting a bunch of people, and people were asking me questions. There was a very large group of sunspots that were facing the Earth, and they just happened... Oh, thanks, Wolfie. Appreciate it. Good job. Keep up the good work. They happened to... I think it was on the 12th, July 12th. There was a solar flare that was produced from that region of sunspots. That was an X-class flare, which is the largest class of flare. I don't know how it goes. There's something M, and then X is the highest, and then X, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as the number gets bigger. It certainly wasn't the largest flare there ever was, but it was certainly one of the bigger ones that were facing Earth. And it did cause some Aurora Borealis, or Aurora Australis. You guys in the southern hemisphere, because it's summer up here in the northern hemisphere, the southern hemisphere has a better chance of getting the aurora. But there was a little bit of a solar storm, I guess you could call it, with the Aurora Borealis. Yikes, the jitteriness. But it wasn't as strong as people were anticipating due to the fact that it was an X flare, and it's still a very imprecise science. They've got a whole bunch of measurements and the KP index and you know, the magnetic variance and things like that of the poles that they can measure, but a lot of times it doesn't necessarily, if you get a KP index that's, you know, 6 or 7, that you think, oh, you're going to get a lot of aurora or something like that, but that always doesn't correlate. So it was on and off, and there are some cool pictures. If you go check out Space Weather, careful Wolfie, spaceweather.com, that's a good source both to find out when stuff like that is approaching or going to happen, but also they post a lot of user-submitted pictures from around the world. And there were some from Minnesota and the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and Oregon and stuff like that, where there were some northern lights. I know last night Northern England had some northern lights that people were taking pictures of, so that was cool. I didn't get out to get any good views of that. I'm too close to the city, and I'm too... I'm borderline. There have been reports... Hello, Wolf. You're there hiding in the shade, aren't you? Bump, 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 bump. Indeed. There have been reports in my area, in the certain suburbs, where people have said that they've seen, not with this storm, I didn't hear anything, but in the past, strong storms. So that was something cool that happened in astronomy lately. Indeed. So let us, seems like a nice, pleasant vista on which to create an elevated hidey hole. So let's do such things as these. Boop, boop, boop. I'm gonna set this one backwards, just for giggles. Woof. Boop. And a boop. So watch the sunset. Speaking of which, that's what the next version of Minecraft needs, is more astronomical occurrences. Woof. Oh, yeah, he woofed right at the same time. Anyway, let's go to sleep. And the Northern Lightsness. Bonk. Should be able to put saddles on dogs and ride dogs into the sunset. Anyway. But yeah, that was something that recently happened in terms of astronomy. I know I like talking about. I guess rolling back to video games, also going on. The Steam summer sale is going on. A lot of you guys were tweeting things at me. Oh, this is on sale, or this or that. I don't know. Last summer, I bought a handful of games during the summer sale then, but I still haven't played many of those. One of those I bought was Grid, and I played 4 or 5 episodes of that for you guys, but I haven't played that since. But I got other games during that I simply have not played yet. So I haven't bought anything during this summer sale yet. Somebody gifted me something, but I don't think I'm going to be doing that for a Let's Play. I'm keeping an eye on it. Some of you guys mentioned that the Microsoft Flight, I didn't even realize Microsoft Flight was available on Steam. I would have just got it on there instead of dealing with all this. Although, I don't know, you might have to still get a Microsoft Live account even if you get it through Steam. I don't know, but yeah, the Microsoft Flight bundle, which includes all the add-ons and the Alaska pack, apparently you can fly through Alaska in addition to Hawaii, were on sale. I passed on that one. I just don't, it was like $20 or something like that. I still don't see that game worth spending money on, which is a terrible thing to say, I guess, in terms of for the developers, but they just should have created a more interesting game. It's just, I don't know how much more I can do with that. It's like, okay, unlock Alaska, okay, but then what? There really isn't much that I've seen apparent anyway, but there isn't much in the way of missions or multiplayer is severely lacking on that. There's nothing going on in multiplayer for that, so I passed on that, but well, actually, I take that back. I bought Portal 2. Because I've never played Portal 2 yet. I've watched X's Portal 2 playthrough, and then I watched Good and BWO play the multiplayer, but I've never played Portal 2, so I picked that up. I don't know if I want to do that for Let's Play, just because that's an oldish game. It was like last year. Kind of an older game, and it's been Let's Played to death. So, I don't know. No promises there. Maybe if I run out of something to play, I'll try that out for you guys. But yeah, I figured it was like $4 or whatever. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I've played the first Portal, so I might as well have Portal 2. That's a good game, worth owning. Which I guess would be surprising that I didn't own it already. But yeah, okay, I take that back. That is the one game so far I've gotten during this summer sale. But I'm keeping an eye, see if anything other interesting comes up. Maybe, I'm trying to keep an eye on racing games. I think it'd be cool to find like a cheap racing game, maybe with multiplayer that we can do with some other people who might be into racing games. It's because I like doing the racing games, and I keep wanting to find a new one. But it's hard to find a good one or a fun one, but also I'd like to try to mix it up a little bit and try to do some multiplayer racing. I don't know how that would work in terms of a co-op dual commentary, especially if you're racing against each other, but we'll see. I'll keep my eye on that. Indeed. Oh, and speaking of X, for those of you who might be subscribed to X from X's Adventures of Minecraft fame, he recently posted a video where he's kind of restructuring his channel. It sounds like he's kind of refocusing and trying to get more into doing the YouTube again. And for all of us who first discovered him because of his Minecraft Let's Play, and was a lot of the reason for a lot of people even discovering Minecraft, he's going to start playing Minecraft again. And it's not like he wasn't playing Minecraft. He said he has friends who have a multiplayer server that he plays on, but he just hasn't been recording and uploading it. So it's not like he's been in the dark since the last time he uploaded a video, which was like Minecraft 1.2. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see. It's good to see him back in the Minecraft game. He reminds me, listening to that video again, his voice and just his manner of commentary reminds me a lot of Brian, Lorgon111. Hello, Strangewater. What are you doing here? Let's see what happens when I do that. A whole lot of nothing. Oh, hey, that was an opening there. See you later, Wolfie. Oh, God, he's just going to go for a ride. But anyway, but yeah, reminds me a lot of, I guess that's the reason early on I noticed Brian, I found Brian because he commented on one of the early Farlands or Busts and asked a question. But then I watched his videos, and his commentary reminds me a lot of X, so I guess that's why I think Brian's a good commentator guy. Commentator guy, that's the official term I've come up with. But yeah, very similar, those two guys. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to seeing new Minecraft videos from X. Not that his other videos are any less important. Like I said, I watched his entire Portal 2 playthrough before, so... Exciting news in YouTube. The YouTube. The MeTube. The YouTube. Sorry, I don't know. What was that? Indeed. Yeah, let me, since we're halfway into what perhaps is going to be the standard 3-day episode, let me start answering some questions. And I guess this is right along the lines with X kind of reinvigorating his channel and getting into more regular stuff. Vinny Boonbots asked, are you still planning on getting another quote-unquote normal job? Sorry, distractions. Careful of those cactus, Wolfie. You just shake his head at me. What was the question? Are you still planning on getting another normal job, or stick with your YouTube as your permanent job? If for some reason YouTube doesn't work out anymore, what sort of permanent job would you look for instead? Ooh, a lot of glitched out water. Take care of that. Suck it. I'm currently not searching for a quote-unquote normal job, and I guess, do I want to do this? I feel like I do this. Anytime this question comes up, I do like a refresher for new subscribers. I'll do a brief refresher. And actually this is important, because it's last July. Let me, I can't believe I forgot this, too. For those of you who don't know, new subscribers, hello. I was a web designer, full-time web designer. I had a full-time job at a studio for about 5 years. And then I started doing this YouTube thing just as a hobby on the side, as most people start doing it. But for those 5 years I was a web designer, I hated every day of it. Well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, I was good at it, and the place I was at had steady work, so I guess, you know, I had a job, I shouldn't complain, blah, blah, blah. But it was one of those jobs that right out of college I had a hard time finding a job, which, just keep that in mind, everybody who's going to college. It doesn't necessarily guarantee you're going to get a job straight out of college, depending on what career path you choose. So yeah, I had a hard time finding a job right out of college, so I got to the point where I was a little bit desperate, maybe, and I had an interview at this place. Nothing against the people there, just maybe not the right personalities for me, but I took that job, and even from the first day, I'm like, oh, I don't like this, I should quit this job, but ended up being there for 5 years. So yeah, last July of 2011, at the beginning of July, I quit that job. Not with the anticipation of doing this YouTube thing full-time, but I had saved up some money in my savings, so I figured I can afford to take a month or two off, try to reevaluate things and maybe get some interviews. Maybe it was the place I was at and not necessarily web design as a whole, so I could maybe find a new job. I was considering maybe going back to school because, as you know, I like all this science stuff. I was considering maybe checking out a science degree somewhere. Of course, I didn't fully think through the whole funding of such going back to school and, you know, all that McGubbins that, you know, kind of really didn't enter into my mind, but that was an idea in my head. But then after that, obviously, with quitting one's full-time job, I had more time for this YouTube thing, and it started kind of taking off. So it's been, since last July, over a year since I've had a quote-unquote, as Vinny Boonbots would say, a normal full-time job. of course, for quite a while there, I was living off my savings. It's not like YouTube right away covered all my expenses, so it's only been up until recently where I've said I've been comfortable with my decision. I broke that boat way too soon. I could have gone through there. Anyway, so yeah, that is a milestone I totally forgot to even mention on Far Lands or Bust here, but yeah, that was something, even before I quit the job, I was discussing it a lot in Far Lands or Bust, and you guys gave me your support, and certainly this YouTube channel is certainly one of the few things I can say in my life that I say was my decision and my idea, and has had any sort of success like this that I'm proud of. And of course, the Child's Play charity fundraiser has far exceeded my expectations, and I'm most proud of that. That's crazy. I never anticipated being part of anything like that, but before we get too sentimental, sniffle, sniffle, let's go to sleep here. And awakeness. And wolfness? No. Okay. But yeah, I've been technically doing this YouTube thing full time. And it's been working good. In answer to Vinny Boonbot's question, I suppose I don't think anybody. I know a lot of other people who are starting to do YouTube full time. I know Good, obviously. I know if you follow BOO, he's kind of in the same spot I was last year, where he's hemming and hawing whether or not he could do this full time and leave his other full time job. And there's other guys I'm sure you're familiar with. I know Etho recently discussed something similar, and people like that. But what was I going to say? Where was I going with this? Oh, I don't think any of us really expect to do this until we retire, in our 60s or something like that. There are just way too many variables. We're not technically employed. We're basically like freelancers here. So YouTube sprung up and really started to get popular from 2008 on. It's still a very young thing, and there's constant change and variables, and we're never sure. So it's certainly not the most secure job path. Careful, Wolfie. Careful, Wolf. Oh gosh, that was close. But I'm first and foremost, part of my decision in quitting my job last July was that even though I was making decent, not great, but decent, okay-ish money, it's not about the money. It's about kind of happiness. Either my own happiness or my satisfaction and able to help other people with Child's Play charity, or entertain you guys, as opposed to just having a job where the sole purpose is to get money. That to me, oh, hello, dark and magical pit of bottomless destiny. No, not quite. But what was I gonna say? Sorry, my phone's buzzing at me. You put the thing on silent, and then it makes more noise because it's buzzing. But the question that I'm not answering yet is, will I plan on getting a normal job? So yeah, basically, I'm assuming I will have to get a quote-unquote normal job eventually. I know somebody right now who is searching for a job and going through the whole applying for and searching on Career Builder and getting interviews and stuff, and I certainly don't look forward to such things. I don't know how I'm going to get back into that, being out of it for a year. I'm just going to keep my fingers crossed and hope that I don't have to deal with that for a while. Ooh. But, yeah, that's going to suck. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. I mean, his other question was what other sort of job I would look for. I mean, I suppose with my current skill set, I would have to look for something web design related. I don't know, maybe there is some sort of, not necessarily social media, I hate that term, but, there's companies out there who, since I have experience in YouTube, and obviously I'm in promoting the channel through a lot of different avenues, maybe there's some sort of consultation or some sort of thing that could turn into a job. I'm not sure. Who knows? I honestly don't know. It's nothing I've really thought about. I could always... Ow! I could always break my ankle. I could always fall back on the idea of perhaps going back to school, getting into something geology or science or planetary science related. That'd be really cool. Of course, the thing with that is it's not necessarily you don't get a job right away. There's a lot of a delay when you got to get a degree and perhaps a master's and even a PhD in such fields as those. So I don't know. It's a big question mark, and I'm fine with that right now. It's exciting what I'm doing, and I'm having a good time, and I'm glad you guys are giving me the feedback and the encouragement that I need every so now and again to keep me energized. So that's that. And there's I guess a little anecdote, I guess, spilling some personal beans. For a while, my dad wasn't too... I wouldn't say he wasn't supportive, but he was skeptical that YouTube is actually a thing that somebody could do, and full time, I guess, and support oneself off of. So for a while, and even up until a couple months ago, almost every time I'd talk to him, he'd be like, "So how's the job search going?" What job search? I'd say, I'm doing this YouTube thing, or trying to get this YouTube thing to work. So that is a little bit off-putting when you hear that from somebody as important as your dad, but it was recently on my birthday in the birthday card I got from my dad, where he said blah blah blah, happy birthday, and what did he say, something along the lines of and good luck and continued success with your current endeavor. And it was like, it wasn't quite the end of Field of Dreams father-son moment, but it was a father-son moment that I suppose finally a little bit of acceptance in terms of what I'm trying to do here. Like I said, I'm more focused on, I guess you can say, being a little bit selfish in the regard that I'm looking out for my own personal satisfaction and happiness in what I do on a daily basis. But, part of that comes from making other people happy, both the fans and both getting charities and fundraisers for Child's Play charity and stuff like that. So yeah, that happened. I guess that is the sum it up for that question. But yeah, thanks for that question. I can always go on a tangent with that. And if you look back in the Far Lands or Bust history, there were quite a few episodes where I was talking about careers and my possible plans to quit my job at the time and stuff like that. So if you want to find out the whole history, you can go back to that. I won't keep repeating myself every episode, but yeah, that is how that cookie crumbles. Woof. No woof. It's this. It's probably lava. Or not. I don't care to find out. Woof. Neither does Wolfie. Neither does Wolfie. Let's find another quick question here. Mr. Adam XD asked, now that you've had the Samsung Galaxy S2... Ha! Segue! I was just talking about my phone buzzing in the background. Now that you've had the Samsung Galaxy S2 for a while, what is your opinion of it? I like it. And I used it a lot more. It came in handy during the NASA tweet-up in Florida, obviously, being a little bit more connected. As opposed to just depending on spotty Wi-Fi connections and things like that. So yeah, it came in handy, and also on my vacation down to Arizona, came in handy with the GPS. Anytime I went on vacation before I had this phone, I basically beforehand, printed out 20 pages of Google Maps to bring with me to have in the rental car. So the GPS was very, very helpful. But yeah, I like it. It's good, and I know there's a new, this Galaxy S3 is out, and I'm sure it's better, and it has the 4G or whatever. But for the price I got this one at, still waiting for my rebate. For the price I got with this one at, and for the service I get, I'm very happy with it. Especially being my first smartphone. I never had a smartphone before this. And yeah, I'm happy with it. I don't use it as a phone very often. I recently just set up Google Talk, or Google Voice to handle my voicemails, which is much more helpful because it transcribes them and sends them to you in an email, or without ever having to actually listen to the voicemail. It tells you who called and the message they left in plain text. So that's helpful, because I rarely answer my phone. If I don't recognize the number, I will not answer it. And oftentimes, if I do recognize the number, I will not answer it. Not a phone person. I do have an undiagnosed phone phobia. But yeah. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. But lately, since I've just been at home since being back from Phoenix at the beginning of June, haven't been using it all that much as a smartphone. So, that was the reason I kind of held out getting a smartphone for so long, is because I really had no use for it just being at home. But yeah, it's working out good, and even had a chance to use it for a milestone video to record Let's Feed Speedy. So yeah, it's good for its video camera capabilities. Which, hello creeper, it's kind of interesting overhang. Does this remind anybody of any earlier place we've been to? Just checking. I don't particularly recognize it, but I don't know. People were theorizing that I circled the globe, and that's why I saw the 292-202 monument again or something, but I don't think that's the case here. Woof, indeed. Wolfie agrees with that assessment of the situation. Let's get a little bit further away from that overhang. I don't want to tempt creeper attacks in the morning. But yeah, that's my review of the Galaxy S2. I suppose this barren landscape. I suppose I might have enjoyed a Nexus, the Galaxy Google Nexus or whatever, which is the straight up Google phone. Simply because there are some things that come bundled, either from my carrier or from Samsung, where they changed the Android system for their own good. I've recently installed my own launcher and kind of theme that kind of makes it more emulate the latest version of Android that the Nexus has. But I suppose, yeah, maybe in the future I'll get one of the Nexus type phones if they still keep making them. But I am happy with the Android system. Yeah. I never owned an iPhone. I did own an iPod, one of the first generation of iPod Touches, and I did pretty quickly get a little bit tired of the Apple closed system, which I've mentioned before, but I'm sure those are just fine and dandy for some people too who don't mind that, but not my cup of tea. But yeah, anyway, end of the episode, a 3-day episode. Once again, hope you get used to these. I thank everybody who asked me questions in the comments below, and you can keep doing that in the comments below. And you can keep going to farlandsorbust.com to contribute to Child's Play charity. 95%. $1,200 to go at the time I'm recording this. Probably less by the time this gets up. So you can head on over, do that, and then we'll start thinking. Maybe in the next episode or two, I'll start discussing what we can do for the 100% milestone celebration. Indeed. So, thanks again for watching. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time.